Hey friends, we are looking at the Mantis Shrimp by JMBricklayer, and this is set number 70013 with 1,843 pieces. Thank you to JMBricklayer for sending it over for review. In this video, we're going to unbox it. We'll look at what's um, inside the box. We'll look at the parts, we'll look at the lighting kit, and we'll look at the instructions. And then in a separate video, we will review the finished model. So let's start with the box. The box is looks like another JMBricklayer set that I've reviewed in the past, and they include their brand values along the bottom. The brand values here, it says Heal, Joybox, and Fun, and those line up with embracing relaxation and joy for the Heal. And then on Joybox, it's basically saying, hey, everybody needs to be able to open a joy box and enjoy that. And they came up with a new word here, which is adolescent. And then the last one is Fun, heading for joy. And it says, welcome to the Unzip Club. And I saw that a couple places right here. It says Unzip Club. And I thought maybe it was an actual club, but I think it's probably something where it's lost in translation. I think they probably mean something like a group of people who unwind intentionally, I bet you is what that translates to. But it's great that they do those brand value statements there, because that's what their intent is for this particular model, right? It is a mantis shrimp, and looking at this mantis shrimp, it's going to measure about almost 18, 19 inches by 9 inches by about almost 10 inches tall. And what you're seeing here is based on an actual creature that is about that, can grow to about that length. The smaller ones are about 4 inches. And mantis shrimp are known for being really good fighters. So you're going to see their like spear type arms or pinchers up at the front, and that's how they kill their prey. And they're actually meat eaters, and they've got some of the most complicated eyes of any animal, and so you've got light up eyes as well here, and it's against a bit of like coral underwater terrain. There's all sorts of other underwater elements there and some coral back here. Now the unusual thing about this model is that it's hard to see here. There's actually no image of it, but one whole half of the model is sort of mechanized, or almost like a cyborg, where it's gears and dials and other things, and it just split right down the middle to have this other side be mechanical, as opposed to the other side, the forward facing side, is more organic. So that's the way that they've approached this from an artistic standpoint. And you can see the delineation a little bit here in the tail, where this is a brick built tail, but on the other side it's surfboards and other things that are more of a greebled or technical side to it. And then looking at the bags, these are bag 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. JMBricklayer has done something interesting here where they've color coded the bags. And I wish everybody would do this, actually. It makes it so much easier to find bag 5 because it's all purple. And so you just find all the purple ones and you're good to go. And sometimes you are struggling to find the bag number. And I wish other companies would figure out how to put their numbers nice and bold, just like this as well. So not only is it color coded, but they have nice bold numbers, which I really appreciate. There are some unusual parts in here. First off, these parts are all Lego compatible, but there are some neat things in here, some colors I haven't seen before. I'll give you an example. One of them is this iridescent green. So if you look at that, like that pulley wheel there, it's an iridescent green, which is kind of cool. There's another iridescent green, like almost like a chrome green right there for that bar piece. And then here's another, yet a different iridescent bluish color for that mixel ball joint piece. So a lot of unusual stuff. Oh, and look at this. This is almost like a rustic chrome. I mean, this is a perfect color for steampunk if you're building steampunk. So a lot of different things going on there with the different colors. This is just more natural or things that you've seen before. Here's that blue again in that color right there. But as far as the part designs, they're things that you will probably find familiar. And this gives you probably an indication of how much iridescence they've built into this particular model. I mean, they're really trying to make it as colorful as possible. There are so many colors here in this on this table right now. And then, of course, these trans blue. You rarely get this much trans blue with any kind of set, so it's nice to get a lot of it here. Yeah, we get up quite a bit. So what this is telling me is that definitely for this base layer here, it's going to be a mix of techniques in order to achieve what looks like maybe the ocean floor. Looks like it's transparent on that bottom layer, then it goes to a solid color as it goes up. And then, of course, just tons and tons of different colors. Now, this one has 15 light elements that are included. And the eyes are part of it, and then they spread it throughout the model as well as throughout the structure as well. Those 15 are in there to just light up that whole thing. And it comes with a battery box too that is rechargeable. So, so here's some extra plates that it comes with and some transparent tubes. Let's just jump into the wiring kit. Comes in this nice, easy to see box. It has bag 1, bag 2, similar to other brands, and then it's got the most unusual looking brick separator ever. Right? It looks like something from a Halo game. It looks like a weapon you'd see from Halo. And then look at this. It comes with this little card that is a support card, but inside are little finger cozies. So you put your fingers in here to just relieve the stress, the friction, or whatever that you might have. So it says creative products, efficient service. So that's a clever little bonus or little gift that they're throwing in there. Makes it memorable. And then, of course, they give you a metal set of tweezers. These are always helpful, especially with the wiring. And with JMBricklayer, they actually put their name on it, and it looks like it's almost a gold color. So that's really nice. That's one of my favorites, is one that's branded, and I keep that with me whenever I'm building anything. And as far as the wiring themselves, or the wiring itself, here is a bunch that are bundled together. This is not just one string. This is several strings. This is probably maybe 10 of them, and they just happen to be connected together. But this gives you an idea of the different colors and things. So every one of these has an LED in it and will connect up to a hub, and then the hub will send power to each of them. So let's take a look at the second bag. You'll get a sense for it. So this is a USB to USB-C cable to help you charge it. And then this is your box. So this box does multiple things at once. It all of the wires connect into here, so it serves as a hub. And then it has a built-in battery, so you can charge it, and then you remove the charging, and it will power all of your lights for you. And it has the USB-C here, as well as a 3-position switch. So on, and then an ambient light, and then off. And in the ambient position, what it'll do is, if it senses that the room has gone dark enough, it'll light up the LEDs. On a different model I had, it actually lit up part of the LEDs and not all of them. So I don't know if that's what it's going to do here. And I bet you that might be the light sensor right there as well. And they usually have a way to hide this in the build. But what's unique is it's got a battery already in it, so you don't have to change batteries out. It's got a rechargeable battery already built in. All right, so let's look at the manual too. So nice matte finish, nice thick book. Oops. And right off the bat, they show you another image of the mantis, and they always show you this side, which is interesting. They don't show you the robotic side. I'm not sure why that is. Just so you know, start with bag 1 before you do bag 5. So it tells you what order to go in, has information about how to use this brick separator. Here's a good guide for all of the lights that you're going to be using. And it even, I think, is trying to tell you which port to plug them into. And unlike other brands, these wires actually go one direction. So there's a right side up and a wrong side. So that's something to keep in mind as you're doing it and as you're building it. Some more information about that particular battery box. And then something that they do here is they have a color comparison where you see different kinds of parts that might be a little bit hard to distinguish from each other. They're trying to give you a guide for what colors and how they're going to indicate that things are a little bit chrome. So they're calling it like a plating. So some blue, sky blue plating will have these kind of different illustrated, gradated style to it versus a solid color. And so that's helpful because there are a lot of new colors here, and it's not always easy in print to indicate what is a different color, a gradated color, or a iridescent color. And then let's see, you start, of course, with the base, and you're building that up. It's a pretty big oval shape, and as you can see, it kind of grays out in light blue pieces or parts of the build that you've already assembled, and the new parts are the only ones in color. And I appreciate that they do that, because with something like this, a model like this that has so many colors built in, imagine if this illustration was in color and you were trying to find the wires and where the wires are supposed to go, it would be impossible. It'd be impossible to figure out how to route the wires if this was full color. So I'm glad that they chose this light blue as a way of showing you the previous build, because then you can find these wires. So good on them for making that choice there. And here's some of the little fish and the details, and it looks like we're using carrots. And I'm not sure what this piece is. It almost looks like it was like vegetation of some kind, and they've reused it here. And there's also a small build for a hermit crab. So that's what we're seeing here. And in all the illustrations and the photos I've seen, the hermit crab does not have any eyes, which I think is probably correct, I would guess. But I think the hermit crabs I've seen, they have sort of like bionicle eyes, but the eyes on this one are just these 1x1 circular tiles. Then we're building the reef out, or sorry, the coral out, and a lot of different colors for it. Again, more of the wiring and making sure you're routing it properly before you get to the very end. Yeah, so are we there yet? There we go. This tells you a little bit more about the connectors, and here's where they hide the battery box too. Okay, so here is one of the only images in this set of the other side of it. So what you're seeing is surfboards used in the tail, wheels and pulleys all along the side here, hoses, all sorts of mechanical things. They probably saved some of the iridescent pieces for this side. And then they actually even changed the antenna. So the antenna are a different build versus the more organic style on the organic side. And so there's a lot of changes they've made to make this side look more robotic. And it's an unusual choice, and I'll see after I build it why they chose to do this, because you would think they would just make it all organic, especially if you're going to hide it on one side, because this model definitely has a forward facing side, a front, versus a just being able to display it on all sides. So I'm going to reserve judgment or understanding for it or explanation for it until after I built it. After I built it, I think I'll have a better understanding for why they made the choices that they made. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, cool. So that's the unboxing. And like this if you like it, please, and then subscribe, and you'll know as soon as I've built it, and we are going to drop the video for it, and you can see the whole thing out and built out. All right, thanks so much. Bye.